My name is Tom Norton. In my other life, I served in the Massachusetts Senate as a majority leader. By this time, you must have read or heard that the infamous Big Dig's red ink is swamping Massachusetts taxpayers. The $22 billion cost has had a ripple effect on the state's finances, diverting funds from needed repairs to roads and bridges across the Commonwealth. And would you believe it'll take 30 years to pay off the debt and will be nearly 50% higher than the most recent official price tag. The Boston Globe reported that $15 billion price tag does not include the $7 billion in interest and will not be paid off till 2038. Massachusetts needs a fresh approach to balancing the budget, and the answer is not more taxes. Let's explore the gambling initiative for much-needed financial relief. The Massachusetts State Legislature has received criticism for not adopting Governor Deval Patrick's plan to legalize casino gambling in the Bay State. As an unabashed supporter of casino gambling, I tip my hat to the representative senators who have asked Governor Patrick to slow down. 15 years ago, as a member of the Massachusetts Senate, I led one of the most in-depth reviews ever undertaken of the gambling industry by a legislative committee. We interviewed principals of the gaming industry, members of law enforcement, regulators, social service advocates, and compulsive gambling researchers. We found that most gambling policy directives are developed on the fly and instituted on an ad hoc basis to address micro issues. The lack of planning has resulted in the creation of a statewide gambling industry that often works at cross purposes, has no overarching, and fails to provide the benefits that would otherwise accrue from what is a multi-billion-dollar industry. We developed 3 basic rules that should govern any possible expansion of gambling in the Commonwealth. First, any expansion should be conducted in concert with an overall statewide gaming plan. Presently, we've had several gaming silos, the state lottery, the racing industry, charitable gaming, but there is no interaction or concerted planning to leverage one facet of the industry to act with another facet. Second, any expansion should lead to the least amount of proliferation possible. Expanding the state lottery, for example, often means increasing the lottery sales network. There are now probably more lottery agents across the Commonwealth than churches. The lottery is one of the most successful lotteries in the country, but I think we can all agree that we do not need any more instant game ticket agents or stand-alone vending machines. Proliferation is not a plus. Finally, any expansion should maximize the revenues that flows to the Commonwealth. Legalizing any action that does not accrue a fiscal benefit to the state would prove counterproductive. While gambling's social impact can be debated, the fact remains that social costs will follow any expansion. The Commonwealth must have the resources to deal with these impacts. Before the Commonwealth acts to legalize casino gambling, it should create a state gaming policy board. The board should work to create a statewide gaming policy, identify relevant revenue streams, and lay the groundwork for developing gambling policy that should be planned out. It should not be implemented on a reactionary basis. Next, the state should incorporate its expanding partners into the mix. For example, Representative David Flynn, the Dean of the House of Representatives, has proposed legalizing slot machines at the tracks and turning them what is called racinos, and turning them into racinos. It's an excellent small market approach that could lead to large revenue solution. There are 4 racetracks across the Commonwealth. Allowing them to expand their market would maximize revenues from a relatively small footprint. We would be increasing the gambling dollars, which would help fund local agricultural, vocational technical schools, and local aid, yet minimize the proliferation of gaming, with one exception. Authorizing slot machine wagering at the state's racetrack would essentially authorize the state's federally recognized Native American Indian tribes to operate full-blown casino operations. However, these casinos would have to be constructed on land that has been taken into trust for the tribes by the federal government. And here's where the state would benefit from having a statewide gaming plan. If the Commonwealth limited the expansion of casino gambling to Massachusetts Indian facilities, it could enter into payments in lieu of taxes, agreements could be worth hundreds of millions of dollars to the tribes and the Commonwealth, while blocking commercial casino facilities from setting up shop across the state. This would bring in substantial revenues without subjecting the Commonwealth to the proliferation of more facilities. Perhaps the answers to how best to proceed in the state's gambling future can be found in the work that we did 15 years ago. A gambling policy to correct a $22 billion deficit or more taxes that has no future. You decide.